Another template that I use a lot throughout the whole lifetime of the project is an issues log. There's always lots of issues.
Yes, there are.
So here is an example of the issues log that I use. What we'll do is we'll go over and look at our template, and I've placed some of these fields here. Do these look good to you, or do you want to add any to this?
Well, actually, I see you have the date registered. I'd love to have a date closed too.
So let's come up to the top and right-click on D column and choose Insert. And let's type in Date Closed. Let's come and select all of our cells for the issues log to be merged and centered. So come to Home, Alignment, Merge and Center. Let's make that a little bit bigger so we can see what we're dealing with here. And then let's add our table. Come up to the Insert tab, Table. Make sure that you check the box, My Table Has Headers, and choose OK. So that's a good start.
Right.
Let's go ahead and add an issue. So is there an issue that you think you might come across in your project?
There actually is, because they are going to be redesigning on the product starting in the middle of January. But we've got to create training on a product that's in flux.
Okay, so let's go ahead and create the first issue. And this is going to be from Barbara. And we'll put a date in here that is registered. It's not closed yet.
Nope, unfortunately.
Would you categorize this? Is this something that maybe marketing would be in charge of, or is it something that production would be in charge of?
I think this would be more along the lines of R&D.
Okay. What would be the appropriate description for this issue?
Product redesign during development, something along those lines.
All right. Now for status,
Wide open.
it's wide open. Typically we would have open and closed, right?
Yes.
Now, when we're working with the issues log, because this is a document that we work with throughout the life of the project, this is a field that we typically will filter by a good bit. So another indicator would be a visual indicator. So let's go to the Home tab, Conditional Formatting, and let's come into Highlight Cells Rules, Text that contains. So issues that are open, we would type in what we're looking for or what we want it to highlight. That is really what we want to focus on.
Right.
So that's going to be a light red fill with dark red text, correct?
That'll work.
All right. So let's come in here and choose OK.
So since this is a table, does that mean that on this next row, if I type open, it's going to take that formatting? Does it automatically carry it over?
Yes and no. No, in this particular case, because we only had one issue here and we applied it to where our cursor was. Now, if I type in open down here, it's not going to apply because we didn't have that highlighted. There was nothing there at that point in time. But let me show you how you can fix this. So if I come back up here and let me delete this, notice that in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little tiny little corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up to where we only have this row.
Okay.
I'm going to place my cursor in the last area of our table and press tab, and that will give us another row. Now, because I did that, it will carry this through to the next line.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. As I tab through, for each line afterwards, we will have that. So once again, because we only had one line, I didn't select that second line, it wasn't applied. But if you apply it to the first line and then tab through and create additional lines in your table, it will catch it.
So what would be the fix if I actually forget to set that and I come back to the table later and I've got rows and rows of data? Is there a way to do this after the fact?
Absolutely. Just highlight that entire row, all the rows and rows of data, or actually it would be the column, and then come up to a conditional formatting, choose Highlight Cells Rules, and then create your text.
Okay.
And put your open in there. This is a great opportunity for you to be able to see all of your open items. Remember that what we put in issues logs are things that are action items, things
Right.
that we have to get done. And so being able to see all of those open items together so that we can address those is very important to a project team.
One more question. How do we know it really belongs on the issues log, that we need to record it here versus it's just a conversation we need to have?
That's a good question. Typically, we would discuss that in our communications plan. This is part of our communications plan in keeping up with, in this particular case, issues. So we would say, as a project team, what are we going to put on the issues log?
Okay.
Typically, my suggestion is anything that needs to be followed up on and we don't want it to fall through the cracks, it needs to go on the issues log.
Well, I can see where this will help me keep track of those issues, because a lot of times issues get recorded and then, a month later you're like, well, did we take care? Yeah, that was taken care of. Oh, it was? We're not sure. And this should help us. And I like that it's part of this whole spreadsheet and we can move forward with everything right there.